All gameplay footage in this review was captured on an Atomos Ninja Inferno, capturing footage at 4K resolution at up to 60 frames per second and in HDR. For more information, go to atomos.com. I don't need to explain just how crazy this year has been for F1 fans. At the time of this review, it's early July, and we've already had several false starts to the season, with it finally kicking off in Austria. Now, more than ever, Codemasters has come in clutch with a brand new Formula 1 game that promises to be a wonderful playground escape for F1 fans all over the world. Codemasters sent me F1 2020 about a week early so I can figure out if it keeps that promise. In this review, I'm going to focus on the main new features like the My Team mode, the new tracks Hanoi and Zandvoort, the Michael Schumacher content, customization, physics, and graphics. Finally, I'll sum things up with pros and cons. The My Team mode makes a player team owner and driver throughout a full career. So in addition to all the challenges that come with being a driver, players will also have to deal with keeping the departments of their F1 team happy and well-funded. Since happy employees mean higher quality work, having low morale in one area can literally manifest itself as stalled development or even broken parts on track. Players are also responsible for seeking sponsors, hiring a teammate, and keeping that teammate happy as well. The morale of each team department, the abilities of the second driver, team acclaim, and team resources are all determined by scheduling different types of activities in the days between races. These activities can raise or lower stats depending on what they are. For example, scheduling a film shoot at the facility may boost the team acclaim and help bring in sponsor dollars, but lower the morale of your departments. Scheduling a party for the aerodynamic department may raise the morale but could also lower the morale of another department. These activities also have an impact on team funds. Players might gain money doing media events at the cost of morale, but parties or training for your departments will boost morale but cost money. Players can also spend resources upgrading each department individually, which will have an effect on the quality and speed of parts production. This is all on top of managing the same R&D tree from previous games and race strategy as a driver. It's a lot and it goes deep. The My Team mode is easily my favorite thing about F1 2020, and it's something I wish Codemasters had done a long time ago. I couldn't find a single thing about it that I didn't like. I even got interviewed by a virtual Will Buxton. By the way, is it me or does my team principal just look like an aged up Christian Horner? Whatever, it doesn't matter. Let's move on. There are a predetermined selection of liveries, racing suit styles, helmet styles, and more, but each can have their colors fine-tuned to create custom color schemes. Just as before, players can choose from the exact same selection of pre-made avatars from 2019 to represent them. Although there is a new Michael Schumacher avatar that comes with the Michael Schumacher Special Edition, and there's an avatar modeled after 2019 F1 esports champion David Tanitsa. Although just as before, there's a woefully unbalanced amount of female avatars versus male. Of the 49 total avatars, including the DLC of Schumacher's, only 8 of them are female. Considering the current times we live in, and the real-life pledge that Formula 1 made to push for more diversity in the sport, I think this should be the last F1 game to which the male to female avatar ratio is so unbalanced. I do give them a lot of credit for the ethnic diversity of the avatars available, which is something that they've been very good about for a while now. The 2 new tracks are Vietnam's Hanoi circuit and the freshly updated circuit Zandvoort in the Netherlands. Visually, both tracks look really good. I didn't find any flaws with any tracks in F1 2020, including these 2 new ones. Really, the story when it comes to Hanoi and Zandvoort is how to drive them. Keep in mind, I'm definitely not the best F1 player, and I reviewed this game with a control pad and not a simulator setup. However, I found Hanoi specifically to be deceptively challenging. It's a long course that throws nearly every type of turn at you and 2 very long straights. Though for me, the most difficult part were the very fast rhythm sections. They demanded every ounce of my focus and I could still never quite nail them. Hanoi will definitely be a very fun course for the highly skilled players. It could even end up being a fan favorite. Zandvoort is definitely challenging in its own right. It's a beautiful course with really fun banked turns, and it also has a rhythm section that's really fast, but it's not as tricky as Hanoi. In F1 2019, the limited edition content featured Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost. In F1 2020, it's all about the legendary Michael Schumacher. If I'm being honest, I wasn't that impressed with the racing suit designs or the liveries. The helmets are definitely cool, but what we're really paying for is the cars. The ability to drive Schumacher's Benetton B195 at Spa is worth the extra $10 alone. Visually speaking, F1 2020 is a beautiful game, though the last few entries are pretty good looking as well, so I wouldn't say that there was a huge jump here. The areas in which I saw the most visual improvement were the human character models, which look less like plastic dolls and more like real people. Visual textures appeared sharper, especially on-track surfaces. There was also no screen tearing to speak of this time around. I reviewed F1 2020 on an Xbox One X, so depending on the platform, your results may vary. If you're lucky enough to have a very high-end PC that allows you to play at maxed out graphic settings, then you're likely in for a visual feast. As of the production of this review, Codemasters has not revealed if there will be upgraded versions of F1 2020 on PlayStation 5 or the Xbox Series X. If that changes, then I'll make an update in the description of this video. Gameplay and physics remain largely the same as far as I can tell. Although again, I played exclusively with a controller and not a steering wheel, so there's going to be a lot of handling nuance lost on me. Though I can say with confidence that the controller did a better job than I expected. The controller was able to communicate changing conditions like a wet track gradually drying out and offering up more grip, the uncertainty of severely worn tires, or understeer caused by a damaged front wing. The fact that I could feel those things with a control pad speaks to the engineering behind it and Codemasters' ability to optimize for it. Though if we're being honest, Codemasters F1 games are made for a steering wheel. There are more options available than there are buttons on a regular controller, and there will be conflicts trying to map things out. If you can make the investment to get a proper wheel from the likes of Fanatec, Thrustmaster, or Logitech, then I would highly recommend it. Let's sum it up with the pros and cons. The My Team mode is deeply layered. The graphics continue to be very good. Physics remain excellent. There are plenty of events to explore. Not enough female avatars. Some of the Schumacher cosmetic DLC is underwhelming. If you've bought every F1 game before this, then there's no reason to stop now. If you've never bought an F1 game before, then this is the one to get. There are plenty of ways this game makes things more accessible for those looking for a casual experience, but still takes nothing away from the more hardcore players. If nothing else, the My Team mode alone makes F1 2020 well worth a buy. Pick this one up as soon as you can.